me just share my presentation. We got lots of stuff to cover for the next 50 minutes or so. Welcome to our September sales meeting. It's been our first sales meeting where we're not going to spend a great deal of time talking about real estate forms. In fact, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the forms transition, once it finally took place, went fairly smoothly. As always, if you guys are stuck on a form or you're not sure if you filled something out after August 17th, send it over to happyagent@laerrealty.com and we're happy to take a look at it. But all in all, I feel like the last 30 days has been the busiest 30 days of the entire year. I can just feel it. The number of listings that are coming on the market, even the last couple of days, poor Maria in closings, she's been processing like 40 closings a day. And we haven't seen that since last year. So it is busy out there. And I think that some of that is just that the relief of the change is over. Like we're past all the forms changes. Of course, we have to be super cognizant. Make sure you guys are using the proper forms because it's really important now more than ever that you guys are using the documents that spell out what the seller is paying for commission, whether to you or to a buyer agent. All of it has to be documented. I only say that because in some of the areas, we're still seeing a lot of real estate agents coming to the table with the wrong forms. So for example, in Massachusetts, we're seeing agents write offers on our listings using a dated form where it does not address their compensation. And what are we to do? We represent a seller. It's not our job to protect the commission of the buyer agent. So just make sure you guys are using the most up-to-date forms. Our compliance team has done an amazing job of cleaning up app files in Florida and .loop in New England to try to make it as simple as possible. They're still making changes. So as you guys go through and you're using app files or using .loop, if you see something that you think would make everybody's life easier, shoot it over to Happy Agent so that we can work on that. For .loop, I sent out earlier in the month some little helpful cheat sheets that Tanya from our compliance team worked on for us, just to make it easy, like how to start a loop. Also, .loop has these weird little glitchy things. Sometimes you can't submit a loop for a review because you're missing something. So she made some little cheat sheets. And then we're going to have Vanny and Donna work on something similar for our Florida agents, just to make life easier, but I'm already sick of talking about forms. We've already spent too much time on that. So as always, knowledge is not power, execution is power. So since you guys are taking the time today to spend it with us, have a piece of paper out so that you can write down a few things that you're going to execute on after you leave today's program. All right, first I want to say welcome to new and returning agents. I want to welcome Luke in Chelmsford, Lori in Fairhaven, Giuliano in Reading, Rick in Southeastern, and Jen in Melrose. As well, we're so very excited to announce that we have some additional offices now in Maine. So an official warm welcome to Townsend Real Estate. Townsend Real Estate is an amazing group of real estate agents. There's 2 offices, one in Portland and one in Cape Elizabeth, Maine. And I'm proud to say that they are now part of our LAER family. So welcome to all of our new family members from Townsend Real Estate in Maine. And between our Townsend Real Estate in Portland and Cape Elizabeth and our Hollowell office, we cover a really wide swath of Maine. Of course, we're going to add some additional offices over time, but if you have any Maine referrals, make sure you put them into our Facebook group because we have lots of very experienced Maine agents who can help serve you in that marketplace. I also want to say congratulations to Kristen Keegan. She was, I heard, the only one that was surprised that she was awarded Massachusetts Association of Realtors Realtor of the Year. I definitely wasn't surprised. She dedicates a great deal of time and resources helping the realtor industry all across the country, in my opinion, but definitely in our local board and Massachusetts Association of Realtors. And by the way, she will be sworn in as our president-elect for the Mass Association of Realtors in October. So congratulations, definitely well-deserved, Kristen. Let's take a look at our closings for August. We had a phenomenal month for August, and I can tell you September is going to be the same. I think that where the first part of the year, we were seeing our numbers, our year-over-year numbers were actually declining a little bit. By the way, that's happening across the board because the market has changed in literally all of our marketplaces. But I think that we're going to end our year slightly higher in closing volume, both units and sales volume. I think by the end of December, we're going to end up slightly higher in sales than where we were last year. Of course, we're always growing, so we have to keep that in mind as well, that if we had stayed stagnant in agent count, probably our numbers would be down, which is basically reflective what's happening in the industry. But let's take a look at our August numbers, and then we'll also go through our top agents for each of the marketplaces. And we will then do a year-over-year comparison to see how they look. So month of August, we did 281 sales plus 46 rentals. That is for a total sales volume of almost $150 million in business for August. Here's how that breaks down. I always like to say this is just based on what the main office for the agent is. So our Massachusetts-based agents did 215 sales, 120 million. Our Maine-based agents did 16 sales at 4.9 million. Our New Hampshire-based agents is 20 sales at 12.3 in volume, and then our Florida-based agents 30 sales at 12 million. I only like to say that because, for example, out of the 215 sales that are Massachusetts based, a big chunk of those sales are definitely New Hampshire as well, because we do a lot of business right over the border. So this isn't where the transactions are located, it's where the agents are located. Anyways, it's a ton of business. So super excited that you guys are staying so busy as we head into the fall months. So let's take a look at our top agents for each of the regions for August. Congratulations goes out to our top teams for Massachusetts: Button and Company, Silver Key Homes, O'Connell and Company, Page and Company, and the Nito team. Our top 5 teams by unit sold. Number 1, Silver Key Homes, O'Connell and Company, Page and Company, Button and Co., and Vision Realty Group. Top 5 individuals by unit sold for Massachusetts. Congratulations goes out to Sarah McCoy, Barbara Miller, Christina DeLumba, Tamea Goder, and Ariana Cardillo. I think we're missing our top 5 individuals by volume. If you have those, Sergio, add those so we can make sure to acknowledge those agents as well. So top 5 by volume for Massachusetts, I think we missed. Top 5 Maine by volume. Congratulations to Shelley Kilmer, Bruce Laverdiere, John Bluen, Maria Kempton, and Kim Granholm. Maine top 5 by units: Shelley, Bruce, John, Julian, and Maria. Congratulations to our Maine agents. And our New Hampshire top teams and individuals by volume, Lisa Newman team, Platinum Realty Group, the Fulford Group, Sarah Tollefson, and Casey Leach. And top 5 by units for New Hampshire, Platinum Realty Group, the Fulford Group, Lisa Newman team, Sarah Tollefson, and Casey Leach. Next, our top 10 for Florida. So top 10 for Florida, we have number 1, Jeff Browning, and this is by volume. Jeff Browning, Pedraza team, Jana Zaidspinder, Tanya Bach, Christina Bear, Tanya McClendon, Matt McLaughlin, Ryan Beatties, Jorge Perez, and Liz Stewart. And Florida top agents by unit sold, Pedraza team, Jana Zaidspinner, Tanya McClendon, Jeff Browning, Tanya Bach, Christina Bear, Matt McLaughlin, Ryan Beatties, Jorge Perez, and Christina DePaula. Our team will send out today to everybody an email that will take you over to our internal agent blog where you can download our top 25 lists for company-wide top 25, but also our top agent lists by region, so that if you're on one of these lists, you can utilize these in your social media marketing, sharing them on your Facebook and Instagram with your sphere of influence. Okay, so let's take a look at our numbers. Our year-to-date, our volume, I think this is the first time this year that our volume has exceeded our year-over-year numbers. So our total volume closed year-to-date is 900 million at 1,755 closings year-to-date. By the way, I was pulling the numbers yesterday only because we've had so many closings just in the first week of September that we're already at 930 million. So September is going to be the month that we hit our $1 billion in sales for the year. We're at 17. So our volume is up year over year by 2%. And our units is down by 5%. So this past August, we closed basically almost 40 more transactions than we did the previous August. So I think that is reflective of what we're going to see for the fall and winter months. So the only words of caution I would say as we head into the fall and winter is across all of our markets, we're seeing a big buildup of inventory. So it's important to keep an eye on that, only because that's going to affect pricing on the listings that you're taking. So be careful not to overpromise and to be very careful when setting expectations with sellers, because there's a lot of inventory in most of the markets. Is it possible you'll still get over asking price? 100%. We're definitely still seeing properties selling for over asking price in some areas, but we're also seeing a lot of price reductions. If you pull the hot sheet each day, you will see many price reductions across the board in all the marketplaces. So it's just a word of caution. Be very careful when setting expectations with your clients. Let's see. I mentioned this. I really don't want to spend a lot of time on forms, but I do want to just give caution that across all the states, always make sure your compensation now is in writing. So if you're working as a buyer agent, for example, listings, that's kind of a no-brainer because we have a listing contract. So our commission is in writing. But when working with buyers from now on in every state, you should have a document that spells out what you're getting paid. And it's really important that you share that with the title company / attorney, depending on what kind of state you're in, title or closing attorney state. Really important to make sure you get that information over to the law office or the title company so that you're paid properly, especially because we're already seeing instances where some buyers are bringing money to the table. So for example, they have a buyer contract with our agent for a certain percentage, and the seller agrees to pay a chunk of that, but not all of it. It's up to you whether you want to collect the difference, but we do have a lot of agents who are collecting the difference. And so you want to make sure that at closing, it's all on the HUD. So if the buyer has to bring in additional proceeds to cover the remainder of the buyer comp, then you want to make sure that it's on the HUD and that the title company or closing attorney is aware so that they don't accidentally leave that off the HUD and not collect for it. I mentioned this before in Mass, always make sure that your listing contract addresses unrepresented buyers. We had a question come through today from Jimmy Tree Lee in Melrose, and he said, if I'm the listing agent and I'm working with the buyer directly, can I get paid for both sides? And the answer to that is maybe. You can be a disclosed dual agent in Massachusetts as long as both parties agree. So the seller has to agree that you're a disclosed dual agent, and the buyer has to agree that you are a disclosed dual agent. So that's one way that Jimmy can get paid on both sides of the transaction. There's another way he can get paid on both sides of the transaction. The other way is if his listing contract says that, let's just say he gets one fee for listing the property and that he also gets to collect a commission when he works with an unrepresented buyer, he can collect both if he ends up working with an unrepresented buyer. So when those questions come through, they're not like just a yes or no answer. It is really depends. And that's why we usually have one of our staff members call just to go through that nuance to make sure that everything is disclosed properly so that you could get paid on both sides of the transaction when that happens. For everybody here, make sure if you haven't already, go download our playbook to the new real estate forms. So you can find this at www.laeragentservices.com and go to the NAR resource section, which is at the top of the page at LAER Agent Services. And the very first link under there is the LAER playbook to the new real estate forms. The one thing that has changed on it in the last 7 days is I updated the main section. So it's even more accurate and I give you sample forms filled out for Maine. So for Massachusetts and Florida, you'll find videos on how to do each form. I am recording some videos as well just for the main forms, but we also cover the forms for Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Hampshire. All of the new forms we've spelled out in this booklet to make it as simple as possible as you guys continue to navigate. But I'm super proud of how well you guys have navigated so far. I mean, you guys just August 17th came and went. Yeah, we definitely get some emails here and there in Happy Agent where somebody needs some assistance with a form. But for the most part, you guys just went out and started doing like killing it even more and doing tons of transactions. Also at LAER Agent Services under the marketing section, make sure to check these out. We have some really good marketing pieces. One of them is for your sellers, why a listing agent should be willing to offer compensation to a buyer agent. We also have like some great documents on understanding buyer agency. So tons of great resources there as well. We have buyer presentations, listing presentations. We have tons of articles that we've PDF'd for you about why sellers should pay a buyer agent and why buyers should have a buyer agent. So we keep continuing to collect resources for you so that you guys have everything you need to be super successful. Let's go through some company updates. First, let's get an update first from our Chief Sustainability Officer, Craig Foley, because he always has something new and exciting on the horizon. What do you got, Craig?
So much, Stacey. I'm going to boot you for a second
Yep.
here. But you're talking about how busy Lair is right this month going in. I'm going to just go through a list. I'm going to just introduce these two things and go through a list of the number of calls that I've gotten over the last week from Lair Realty agents dealing with this intersection of real estate and sustainability within their transactions. Really interesting stuff happening and just overwhelming, Stacey, the amount of.
Yep.
So first of all, GBAR is having a sustainability symposium. This is our third or fourth annual one. The Sustainability Committee runs this for Greater Boston Association of Realtors. As you can see, it's October 23rd, 2024 at Boston University. It's $25. It includes lunch, great symposium, great speakers on smart growth, on smart zoning, and that I'll be teaching the smart growth, smart energy class for 2 continuing ed credits at the end of the day. So definitely check that out if you want to get your fingers wet in this. This is going to be a great event. I'd say register now because we've only got so many seats available. So definitely check that out. And I know Sergio just threw that into the chat as well. And then just a reminder, I'm going to be teaching the green designation, which is a 2 full day course on October 3rd and 4th. So you can see it's a full day of teaching that happens on both of those courses to get you knowledgeable and competent in this rapidly emerging space of green, high performance homes, sustainability in real estate, however it is that you want to talk about it. This class does the deep dive that you need to be knowledgeable and competent in the industry. And the prices, Stacey, are unbelievable. $79 for Cape Cod and the Islands Association of members, and for non-members, $149. Now, Stace, when you took the green designation last year in Central Mass, I think it was $300 or close
Yep.
to that you paid, right? This is a
Yeah.
phenomenal price. So definitely check this out. Would love to see our agents on the Cape to take the green designation. I'm gonna share with you, Stacy, some of the reasons why. I mean, so busy, just like you said, right? Had 2 agents call me that are representing buyers that they're purchasing homes with solar. So they wanted to know what they need to ask, what's the process here, right? So I met with one of the agents and their clients on Zoom. I met with another one of our LAER agents who is got a really interesting listing, single family home on 18 acres, but there's a buildable lot next door. So she's going to list both of those further on down the road. But the family was really interested in leaving some kind of environmental footprint for the legacy, particularly for their dad. So they were really interested in the back 15 acres, having a solar PV field on it and continuing to own that property and lease the field out to a solar provider. So I had gone down this road for 5 or 6 years. I started to research this, met with the listing, or one of our great listing agents, and the family online, right through Zoom, went through those resources. And at the same time, I was going through the back end with some of my connections. And one of my contacts at Energy Sage put me in contact with a solar developer. So I put them in contact with the families. Just crazy stuff going on. I have a LAER agent on Sunday that's a churchgoer. His church is interested in purchasing a church with solar on it. Wanted me to come on Friday. I couldn't do that. Got a LAER agent wanting solar on their home. I got a call yesterday from a homeowner in the central part of the state with a HERS score of -21. He got my name through 2 qualified appraisers that said Craig's the person to talk to, go to him. And then I got a text yesterday, Stacey. I'll forward this to you. I'm assuming all of our green designated agents got it. But it was a text saying, hey, I'm reaching out to all green designated agents. I'm assuming got those names on Green Dot Realtor. I've got a fossil fuel free or a decarbonized home I'm selling in Somerville. Blah, 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 blah. Would you like to show? Just crazy stuff. I mean, first of all, I'll send you this text so you have it because you might want to reach out to this guy. He's not a green designated agent, but I just like the innovation that's happening in the marketplace, that he took the time to go to Green Dot Realtor, find green designated agents to reach out to them specifically about this listing that's out there. So just some really cool stuff going on, Stacy, right now in this part of the market. It is definitely worthwhile to get that green designation and be knowledgeable and competent in this part of the industry.
100%. I was talking to an agent who's not yet a LAER agent in Florida yesterday, and like all the things, like a bunch of districts are redrawing flood zones, plus the issue with there's all kinds of new condo laws that are now in place because of that property that collapsed. Um, all kinds of interesting things happening in the Florida market. I think that in every single market we are working in, there is a massive opportunity to be the experts. Like you said, we want to be the people that somebody reaches out to because they've got an issue around sustainability. And who doesn't have an issue around sustainability in this world today? Everybody does. So,
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to go teach the green designation in Alaska in February, believe it or
oh,
not.
that's cool.
And so I'd love to go down to Florida in February and teach the green designation down there to get the other, feeling
Yes,
of what the world feels like in February.
absolutely. All right, awesome stuff. Let's go back to our presentation. By the way, as a reminder, if you head over to lairagentservices.com, you guys will see that we recently added a new listing presentation and a new buyer presentation specifically for high performance homes. So we already have great buyer and listing presentations, but these are really catered to a green designated agent who wants to really concentrate on what value you bring to the table as an agent that's educated on these important topics.
Those decks are awesome, Stacy.
Yes, awesome stuff. I've heard great things. I know of agents already using them. So I think that one of the goals we said at the beginning of the program, write down notes throughout the program and execute, because knowledge is not power, execution is power. Go get your green designation and start digging into some of the resources that we offer. So, okay, we are now heading into the final lap of 2024. And it's really important now that we've got the weight of the real estate forms off of our shoulders. It is super important that we are preparing right now for an amazing 2025. So there's all kinds of resources available for you. Number one resource, many of you guys have already started with, is we have hired the amazing Michael Mayer. Michael wrote the book, The 7 Levels of Communication. He has built massive real estate businesses. He's a real estate agent who has built massive real estate businesses in different parts of the country. And he teaches agents how to build a successful real estate business without having to be a salesperson. Like, you don't have to overcome objections. He teaches you how to build a business by giving to people. So the program is 4 weeks in. You can, if you've missed the first 4 weeks, I don't want you to watch this today and say, it's too late for me. I've already missed the first 4 classes. Absolutely not. You can 100% get caught up super quickly because number one, you'll want a copy of his book, The 7 Levels of Communication. The first 2 months of the program, he focuses on that book because there's great resources and a blueprint in there on how to build a successful business. But you can go to lairrealty.com/finish strong and check out the first 4 classes. They're just 30 to 40 minute videos. Um, then start coming to the class. It's every Monday at 10:30, and you can go to lairzoom.com to just participate in the program. It is live with Michael Mayer. By the way, he texted me about 5 minutes ago, and he said, he's like, I'm so happy that so many of your agents are engaging with me. So he wanted me to remind you that you can text him at 404-737-0524. We'll respond if you have questions or need help or you get stuck. And by the way, he wanted me to remind you to go to join join GENGEN.com. All of this, by the way, is at laerrealty.com/finish strong. You'll see each week we put the recording of the class as well as what the homework assignments are. And then you can see all the upcoming classes, which are basically every Monday at 10:30, all the way through the end of January. So remember, all the stuff that you do now is getting you ready for an amazing 2025. We are working, Christina Silva is working with a team to set up a 2-day in-person accredited buyer rep class. That's going to be in Massachusetts, in Littleton. Tentatively, October 21 and 22, it's going to be a free event at the courtyard. We'll send that out as soon as we have more information. And we have lots of Tom Ferry coached agents at LAER. So wanted to make sure you guys knew that Tom Ferry is coming to Boston once again on October 15th. He's going to be at the Hilton Boston Woburn. I believe the tickets are $149. If you are interested in going, you could just email Happy Agent. I think you go to tomferry.com/events to sign up for the Boston event. I already know we have many agents who are attending the event. If you can't find the sign up, just shoot an email over to happyagent@laerrealty.com. As well, we have tons of training classes coming up at LAER. You can head over to laerrealty.com/training just to see all the upcoming classes. A new class that is coming at the end of the month, taught by Farah in our Florida market, is leveraging ChatGPT for real estate. So a lot of the training we do on Tuesdays and Thursdays is really focused on the tools we offer at LAER, but we're starting to mix it up with some new stuff. And Farah is the queen of ChatGPT. Anytime I ask Farah for something, she shoots over an answer. I could say I need a 30-page contract on this item, and in 30 seconds, she'll send me an email with the 30-page contract and a blueprint on how to deliver it and key talking points. And it's because she leverages ChatGPT for everything. So she's going to teach us how to leverage it in our business. And I think that's a perfect segue to
It is.
Farah talk about stuff happening in Florida.
Thank you. You made me laugh and tear a little bit. That was hilarious. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Farah Belisario, the Regional Director of Agent Services for LAER Realty Florida, and we've got some really cool announcements to share with you today. So before we even jump into it, I wanted to give a big, huge shout out and a wonderful congratulations to the Donna Guerin of Port St. Lucie. She was recently promoted to being our new Regional Compliance Director. Extremely well-deserved. I have no idea of anyone who is more talented with transaction management and app files specifically. So very well-deserved, and we're looking forward to supporting her in her role as she supports all of you. Next, as usual, we have our monthly printed calendar. We always offer a monthly printed calendar here in Florida because there's some in-person classes that may not be listed on the LAER realty.com/training site or page. So we offer them on a printed calendar. And then on the front, of course, we list our Pride preferred vendors. These are vendors that were referred to us and that we work closely with for engagement and support of our agents here in Florida. Please, if you haven't, take a moment and join our regional Facebook group. And I do want to say this, even if you are not a LAER Florida agent, we do encourage you to join anyway, because we share moment-to-moment updates there. And if you have any referrals that you want to share, any information, or maybe you're a part-time Florida resident yourself, this is a really, really great way to stay in the know about what's going on in our regional community. So we just wanted to take a moment and thank all of the amazing agents that came to our very first inaugural, I know that's kind of repetitive, our inaugural Meet the Vendor Happy Hour. It was absolutely a smash hit. We were supported by some of our great vendors, of course, New World Title. We had Palm Beach Mortgage Group, Max Home Inspection, and Brightway Insurance. It was an amazing event held at the amazing Kickback in Wellington. We're going to continue to do these quarterly with a different arrangement of vendors in different towns, but it's just a lot of fun to come out. I think we often discount networking with the people that we know. So make sure you come out next time for our next quarterly event. And I wanted to chat a little bit about some of our upcoming events. As Stacy mentioned, ChatGPT really does 30% of my job, to be very, very fair. And I want to teach you all how to use this. If you are not leveraging this tool for real estate today, you are missing out. This is a free AI assistant that can help you in a plethora of ways, from communicating with your client, creating standardized email templates, writing your listing descriptions. I could go on. I love ChatGPT. I threatened my husband that I'm going to marry ChatGPT if he ever hurts me. I love it. And I'm going to teach you all the reasons why you should love it as well. And then lastly, we have the main event. This is a monthly event where we invite tenured agents to interview with me in a 30-minute interview style session where we get to sit down and have a better understanding of their career and all of the things they've done over time and their perspective of real estate. This month, we have the absolute pleasure of being joined by the Harriet Offerman. She's a literal institution here in Wellington all by herself. She's amazing. She's been doing real estate for 40 years. If you have 30 minutes to spare, I promise you this will be a phenomenal conversation that you do not want to miss. And that's it from me.
Awesome. Thank you, Farah. And then I think I saw Nicole on there driving. Any updates for us, Nicole?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I had to turn the video off while I ordered my Dunkin' Donuts. So
Oh.
I wanted to touch base. I don't want to bring forms up again. I know we don't want to talk about it anymore, but one, we are obviously very available for anyone. I know a lot of people have emailed, text us to ask about the forms and what they should do for the purchase and sale and all of that. As much information as you can give to us is appreciated, so we know what we're going into on the other side. The other thing I would love to touch on is, it seems like, and Stacy, tell me if I'm wrong, but it kind of seems like the market's coming back to, quote, the normal prior to COVID, which means we need a little bit more time on purchase and sales. We're seeing a lot of title issues, or title matters come up, I should say, foreclosures in the title chain. So we're just needing a little bit more time, and it seems like the inspections are coming back. So usually the purchase and sales are done after that. So if we can extend those dates out a little bit, if we can't, you know, we're here and we'll be up at 11 p.m. and doing purchase and sales for you. So that's all I have.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you all.
All right, I want to do a quick rundown on how to develop your mindset for success as we head into end of 2024 and the beginning of 2025. I get so excited when I see real estate agents who break through barriers. In other words, those agents that you see kind of plug along at the same exact sales volume year over year. By the way, that's most real estate agents. Most agents get to a place where they're comfortable in their business, and then year over year, there's only maybe a 10% differential in the amount of business they do. But every once in a while, you see an agent that breaks through, and all of a sudden, they go from plugging along at $2 million a year in sales volume, and now they're at $20 million in sales volume. And so what is it that causes the breakthrough? What causes the breakthrough is a shift in mindset. So if you're an agent that wants to have a major shift in the amount of business you do, that you want to go from what you've been doing year over year, even if it's been for 20 years, because I've absolutely seen agents have massive shifts, even after having a track record of 20 years at the same volume, to all of a sudden make this massive shift. It's simply a matter of mindset. So imagine living a life in which you could be, do, and have anything you want, where literally nothing is off limits. That's what we're going to be talking about for the next 10 minutes. Now, what you guys have to understand is that by the age of 18 years old, most human beings have been told no more than 148,000 times on average. So yes, most of us are pre-programmed from a very young age of all the things, all of the limits that we have in the world. So all the things that we are not capable of. Children are programmed to believe that that sport or that career or that hobby is just not for them, that they're not wired for that career or hobby or job, for example. Most human beings don't grow up exposed to their limitless potential. Most human beings grow up only knowing what the limits are. So most become boxed in early on, and then they become a lifelong prisoner of that box. So leading behavioral researchers say that as much as 70% of everything that most people think about is negative, counterproductive, and works against them. That's the limiting thought. So that means most humans are programmed for their limited potential. How successful you will be at anything is 100% tied to the words and beliefs about yourself that you have stored in your subconscious mind. And for most, those beliefs and thoughts were planted by someone else. So we have to be super cognizant of the thoughts that happen in our head and what are the things that trigger thoughts. So for example, I've spent the last 5 years kind of moving off of social media. I use it limited, only because I think social media is one of those places where we are triggered to think about our own limitations, because many of us think that because somebody else is doing something great in their business or great in their life, that we're not capable of doing that too, or that we're not capable of doing better or having whatever we want. So how come some accomplish nearly any task in life more easily than others and achieve their goals more readily and live their lives more fully? It is because they think different. You will become what you think about. So I always say, you bring about what you think about. Your life is a byproduct of the thoughts that you have in your head. So where you sit right now is a byproduct of the thoughts you've had up until this moment. So if you want to be at a different place in your life, maybe have more wealth, or a different house, or you want to be doing more business. It could be anything. It all begins with the thoughts that are happening in your head, the conversations you are having with yourself all day, every day. The brain simply believes what you tell it the most, and what you tell it about you, it will create. It has no choice. So you are a byproduct. You are creating every day. And that creation starts with the thoughts. Too often, we do all the right things in business and life, and yet the results don't come. This is super common in real estate. I have seen real estate agents that seem to do everything right. They attend classes, they execute on stuff, and yet they don't quite have the results that it seems they should have. And it is 100% of the time because their thoughts are not aligning with the person they intend to be. So the problem is that sometimes as humans, we go out and look for external solutions to why we're not accomplishing what we wish to accomplish in life. So we go buy the self-help book, for example, or we sign up for classes. So sometimes I see real estate agents take hundreds and hundreds of classes, yet the results don't show. They don't do more business. And that's because they're looking for an external solution when the real problem is the internal thoughts. All of us talk to ourselves all of the time. Sometimes it's just spoken words, but usually it's just unspoken thoughts, little thoughts that pop up in our head. Anytime you have a thought in your own head, like, I can't do that, or that's not possible, right off the bat, that is your limiting thought. And that is worth exploring. When you think something is not possible for you, when you look at another human being and you have 5 excuses as to why that's possible for them, but it's not possible for you, that's worth exploring, because that thought is not serving you. That thought is boxing you into your own prison. The more we believe about something, the more we will accept other ideas which are similar. So we're always trying to prove what we already believe. So this is why it's hard to change beliefs, because humans are programmed to find proof of what they already believe. But that's not going to help you break through a barrier. To break through a barrier, you have to be aware of the thought that is not serving you, and then pick at it and question it and say, why do I believe that? What if I believed something else? What if I just try on a different belief for a few months and see how that serves me? Most people don't realize how bad their self-talk really is. And most don't realize the power of the negative programming that they are programming themselves with. So some of the frequently used negative self-talk, these are some of the common ones that I hear all the time. I'm terrible at remembering names. That's just a belief. Like that's a limiting belief. It's going to be another one of those days. It's just no use. I just know it won't work. Nothing ever goes right for me. One of the ones that I reprogrammed for myself, I used to tell myself every single day that I'll never get it all done. There's not enough time in the day to get it all done. I never say that to myself. I wake up now every day and I say, there's more than enough time to get it all done. And by the way, there is. But if I believe there's not enough time to get it all done, I won't. Here's some other negative self-talk. I don't have the talent. Everything I eat goes to my waste. Today just isn't my day. I never have enough time. I never know what to say. I just never have the energy. All these are your little prison cells. All of these thoughts box you in. I'm not a salesperson. I always get colds this time of year. I'm just not cut out for this business. If only I were smarter, taller, if only I had more time, if only I had a college education, if only I had more money. It's on and on and on. None of that matters. What matters is the conversations you're having with yourself in your own head. So, if any of that sounds familiar to you, well, no wonder why you can't get to where you want to go. So, yes, go take the Finish Strong class, go sign up for Tom Ferry, go get coached. But most importantly, start spending a little time each day being super hyper aware of what you're saying to yourself, because often it is you keeping you in your own prison. It is a vicious circle. Programming creates beliefs, beliefs create attitudes, attitudes create feelings, feelings determine actions, and then actions create results. So this negative programming is a true vicious circle that creates more vicious circles in your life. Anytime you find yourself saying to yourself, I can't or I need, right off the bat, start exploring that. That is negative self-talk. I can't is a negative acceptance of your ability. So you're already saying that you don't have the ability to do something, which is not accurate. I need, anytime you come from a place of need in your business or life, if you constantly feel you need, you will always feel you need. You will never feel whole because you are living in a state of need. So, how to fix it? Well, it comes down to the thoughts and the words first. Don't live in a state of negative words, such as I never eat more than I should. I never get stressed in traffic. I never put off stuff that has to get done. Instead, live as if you're already living your potential. Use words like I am, live as if. So I can, I will, I do, I believe in myself. I am achieving my dreams. I give great information to my clients. I provide for my team, my family, myself. Just imagine that your brain is a mental apartment. It is the place that you live with your thoughts. So in your brain, that is your mental apartment, and it is furnished with all the things you think about this yourself and the world around you. Most of you guys are furnishing your mental apartments with hand-me-downs. Somebody gave you a really ugly couch when you were 15 years old, and you still have it in your mental apartment. You got to let it go. You first have to recognize that it's there, that it's sitting in the apartment, and then it's time to get rid of the old couch for a new one. You can't just eliminate negative programming. You have to replace it with something else. So that's important to know, that ugly couch that was programmed in your head when you were 16, it's not going to just go away. You have to program it. You got to move in another piece of furniture. So in order to do that, you have to take responsibility. You have to realize the only one that could change that ugly couch within your mental apartment is you. So lots of ways to do that. Lots of ways to start changing your self-talk. Most importantly, it starts with just listening to your own thoughts and recognizing when those thoughts don't serve you, and asking yourself, why did I say that about myself, and why do I think that about myself? Instead of accepting that you can't handle something or that you don't have the ability, assume that you do. Assume that you've got it covered. Self conversations with yourself about potential, not about your lack and the things you can't do. Have conversations. Hey, great job today on getting that $500,000 listing. You know, that was so easy for me. I'm going to go after $1 million listing. Have those conversations instead of getting the $500,000 listing and thinking in your head all the things you did poorly, and focus on be grateful for all that you have already accomplished and what is still possible for you. Daily affirmations help. Situational affirmations are also helpful. So, for example, if you know that you get stressed and you head into negative self-talk when you're driving, then you can create situational affirmations that you know when you're driving, these are the thoughts that I'm going to have. But most importantly, monitor your thoughts and make the necessary changes to move new furniture into your mental apartment. So we are already 2 minutes over our time today. But most important, the one person you talk to all day is yourself. Most of you have been programmed since childhood with something, probably many things that are not possible for you. And then you become a prisoner of those thoughts and create your expectations of the world based on thoughts that were implanted at a very young age. Your ability to achieve your dreams comes down to what's going on in your head and the conversations that you're having with yourself. Remember, the stories of your mind do become the stories of your life. So begin programming your self-talk through affirmation, and truly spend time really when you catch yourself saying, I can't or I need, stop for a moment and say, wait a second, why do I feel this way? And explore further. Your life really has no limits if you break down the walls. By the way, 2 great books, Promptings, Your Inner Guide to Making a Difference by Cody Bateman. And then hands down, one of my favorite books, I've given away thousands and thousands of copies of this book, is What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. So great books. And with that, we are done with today's program. I want to thank you for another great September event, and we will see you in October. Thanks, everyone.